Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551. And for this video, I'm going to be taking a look back at movies and TV shows, TV shows or in general of 2023 in terms of what I thought was the good, the controversial, and the mix, and the bad, though. If you're interested in my take on gaming in 2023, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you click on the card that will appear up on this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. 2023, when it comes to movies and TV shows, was sort of I would say an interesting year for it, though. We did see some premieres and some movies that actually did well at the box office, but at the same time, some juggernauts franchises that didn't do as well as a lot of them would have hoped for. And then, of course, there were some legal issues, particularly with two different actors. One who played Crane, and the other one being one of the creators of, Rick and Morty and everything like that. And of course, there was the infamous writers and actors strike and everything like that. So 2023 in terms of movies and TV shows was sort of interesting indeed. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to break this down into the good, the controversial, and the mix, and the bad. So we'll start off first with the good. And the first one I want to talk about is The Last of Us TV show, which became basically a hit for basically not only Sony, but HBOMax, now being called Max and everything like that. It basically followed very closely to the Last of Us Part 1, the video game and everything like that. And it was also one of the reasons why I decided to subscribe at the time, what was called HBOMax and everything like that. So it was a very good season, though. I think it was really good. And I'm looking forward to season 2, which unfortunately we're going to have to wait until 2025 for that season to begin. The next one I want to talk about is the Barbie and Oppenheimer movie, or the Barbenheimer thing as it was called, though. I mean, these were two movies that were pretty much hyped up, and what was interesting about these movies was that they were going to be released on the same day, though. Both the movie about Barbie and everything like that, and Oppenheimer being about, the creating of the atomic bomb during World War II, and both were basically a box office success. In fact, the whole Barbenheimer thing trended very well on social media. I remember when going to the theater to go see Oppenheimer, I saw someone wear a t-shirt with, Barbie driving her car with Oppenheimer in the back, to someone taking the god-awful, or so bad it's good, Aqua's Barbie song and changing the lyrics to "Come on Barbie girl in my nuclear world" and everything like that. That was just weird in a whole new level and everything like that. But in either case, both movies did good. I only saw Oppenheimer. I didn't see Barbie or anything like that. I had no desire to see Barbie or anything like that, but I did enjoy Oppenheimer. I thought it was very good, especially from director Christopher Nolan. And I liked, World War II, or studying the history of World War II. So this movie's definitely perked my interest and everything like that. The next thing I want to talk about is the Super Mario Brothers, the movie. I mentioned this also in my take on gaming in 2023 to a certain extent, though. Now, when it was originally announced that Illumination and Universal were going to be doing a Super Mario Brothers movie, though, I was a little hesitant at first, especially when it was announced that Chris Pratt was going to voice Mario. I was a little bit concerned about this to see how this was going to do, but I decided I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt and see how this movie was going to play out. When the first trailer was shown and everything like that, I was definitely sold on Jack Black voicing Bowser. I'm not 100% about Chris Pratt voicing Mario. I had to hear more of his impression of Mario. Then when the second trailer was shown, I was like, okay, it's not perfect, and Chris Pratt was not my first pick to voice Mario, but I didn't feel like it was cringeworthy or god-awful as some on the internet were fearing that was going to be the case. And so when I finally got to see the movie in theaters with my nephews and everything, I came away pleased with what I saw. For me, though, I think this is the Mario movie a lot of us have been waiting for a very, very long time. Is the movie perfect? I won't say it's 100% perfect, though. There are some decisions I don't completely agree with, though. And I will admit the critics were right to a certain extent, in the fact that, I mean, if you played any Mario game outside of the Mario RPG, the plot's not going to be anything new. It's really much Mario versus Bowser and all. But outside of that, that didn't ruin my time with the Super Mario Brothers movie at all. It was done very well. It definitely felt more like a love letter to the Mario games and everything like that. And I think Illumination did a very good job staying as close to the source materials as much as they possibly can. And the fact that this movie really did well at the box office really... well, it definitely showed how well the Mario brand certainly is. And while there isn't an official sequel has not been announced at this time, or the rumors about a Donkey Kong movie, given how well this movie has done, you can be sure that it's only a matter of time before we hear a sequel to Super Mario Brothers, the movie happen, or even a spin-off with, starring Donkey Kong and everything like that. So we all know it's going to happen. It's not to mention the ending to that movie, the end scene credit with Yoshi. Yeah, a sequel is going to happen and all. The next thing I want to talk about is that although Disney had a rough 2023, they did have some silver linings. It seems to be that there were certain bright spots with them, though. The two bright spots, at least that I think of, were Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and although I didn't see this in theater, it seemed to may have done well at the box office, and that is the live action The Little Mermaid. For me, it was obviously Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, as this was the last time we're going to see James Gunn direct, a movie in the MCU and everything like that. And this was a great send-off for him doing basically, the Marvel movie with Guardians of the Galaxy. It will be interesting to see how he handles DC movies going forward, since he's going to be taking charge and everything like that. I mean, it was definitely a very good conclusion. It was definitely more of a Rocket Raccoon story to a certain extent, but still done very well nevertheless. It'll be interesting to see if we see any of the cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy in future entries into the MCU. It does seem that Star-Lord will make an appearance in a future Marvel movie, based on what we've seen on that so far. And basically, it's a good send-off from James Gunn, who handled, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel and everything like that. So hats off to that movie. And while I didn't see this, though, it seems The Little Mermaid did all right at the box office, to be exact. So I think those two might have been the bright spot for Disney and everything like that. And last but not least, though, even though I am not a Taylor Swift fan or anything like that, there's no doubt in my mind that Taylor Swift, the Ernest, if I'm saying that correctly, ERAS tour, certainly became a hit basically in theaters. So it was basically one of the best, growth, did very well box office in terms of live concerts being shown in theaters and everything like that. Obviously, I'm sure for Taylor Swift fans, they probably enjoyed it and everything like that and all. There was no doubt 2023, Taylor Swift kind of dominated it to a certain degree, to even winning Time Magazine Person of the Year and everything like that. So, yep, this one basically did very well at the box office. Obviously, they knew who they were aiming for with the demographic with that, but it did very well and all. Now, in terms of the part 2 that we're going into, the controversy and the mix, there were certainly some controversy in the mix, certain things though, but there were only 3 that I could think of that really stood out the most in 2023. Excuse me. The first one was basically learning the fact that HBOMax was now going to be called Max and everything like that. Personally, I thought this was sort of a odd decision for them to do this in a way, though. I don't know why they decided to just call it Max and everything like that. Why not keep it as HBO Max? There may be a certain reason or anything like that, but yeah, I just thought it was just odd for them to call it, change it from HBO Max to Max and everything like that. The next thing is basically, obviously, the writers and the actors strike. That definitely had an impact on a lot of the shows and everything like that, though. This would have, basically, some of it was, of course, surrounding the whole issue of AI, which has been sort of a very controversial issue, and there's been some mixed response to it, indeed, but obviously, this definitely shut down the industry for several months, though. It certainly would have an impact, as some shows would see their next season and all delay and all, to even impact on movies. Like, for example, Dune Part 2 was supposed to come out in November of 2023, but due to the writer's strike, they pushed that back into like sometime in 2024. I think it's like, I think April or May. I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, the writer's strike definitely had an impact on basically a lot of the studios that were working on a lot of these shows and movies and everything like that. And hopefully going into 2024, this issue would be resolved. We don't have to go into another writer's strike or an actor strike going on. And last but not least, though, the creator of Rick and Morty, a very popular show for a lot of folks, one of the creators, I think Justin Roiland, if I'm saying his name correctly, apparently faced allegations of basically of him assaulting or attacking his wife or anything like that. Now, supposedly these charges were dismissed, but new allegations begin to emerge against them, though. And it kind of threw into the question of him being taken off of Rick and Morty and other shows. Like, what impact will this have on these shows going forward? For now, it doesn't seem like there's any changes at this very moment, especially with Rick and Morty and all. But yeah, basically he certainly garnished some controversy, especially with a lot of these allegations that were leveled against him and all. And finally, last but not least, in part 3, I refer to as the bad, though, I will say for DC films, if this was going to be the last time we were going to see, the DCEU, it didn't exactly do as well as DC had hoped for. I mean, The Flash was supposed to be sort of the start of the new DC films and everything like that. And despite having Michael Keaton return and play as Batman, that did not perform well at the box office. Same with Shazam's Fury of the God, Blue Beetle, and even Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Basically, you could point to several reasons, though. One possible reason is that when they announced that James Gunn was going to somewhat like reboot the DC films and everything like that, it got to the point where people were like, I kind of felt like people were feeling like, what was the point seeing these films at all? I mean, what was the actual point or anything like that, though? So I think that could have been one of the contributing factors. Same with, we saw with Aquaman and Lost Kingdom and all. So we'll have to see how well James Gunn handles, the DC films going forward and everything like that. But obviously, as far as the DCEU, yeah, that did not go very well for them, though. The other thing, of course, is basically even Marvel and Disney, unfortunately, didn't have a good year either, though. Some of their films and even their shows like Secret Invasion on Disney Plus didn't perform as well as they had hoped for. I mean, Ant-Man 3 was considered a box office disappointment, or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, even though I thought that was the best entry in the Ant-Man series, though. The Marvels, unfortunately, did not do very well at the box office. I mean, you could point to several factors. Some of it was the actors and actresses couldn't promote the movie in time because of the timing of the writer's strike. Others, it's just like the story just wasn't as good as a lot of people had hoped for compared to the first one, Captain Marvel, was in in 2019 and all. And of course, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was also an unfortunate box office flop. While I definitely thought it was an improvement over Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I would say it's not as good as the classic Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, or The Last Crusade and everything like that. And that's really unfortunate and sad, because this was probably the last time we were going to see Indiana Jones or Harrison Ford play Indiana Jones ever again, though. To see this one become a box office disappointment, though, because I thought it was definitely one of the better Indiana Jones movies. Like I said, better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, at least in my books, though, to be exact. So very unfortunate to see that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny did not perform at the box office. But then again, Marvel and Disney had a rough 2023. It'll be interesting to see how 2024 plays out with them, especially since we only know we're having one Marvel movie this year, and that is Deadpool 3 and everything. And last but not least, though, is of course Jonathan Majors is Legal Trouble. Now, he played Kane in the whole multiverse saga for the MCU, and while Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania had its issues, a lot of people enjoyed his portrayal of basically, Kane to, He Who Remains, that was in Loki season 1 and season 2 and all. unfortunately, allegations started to emerge of him basically hitting several people, including women and all. And that really started to take off when more and more allegations started to come. He was later, I think, arrested, I think sometime either in May or in March, I don't know when, and was found guilty on some of the charges, but not all of them. It kind of threw into question what they were going to do with Kang and the issue with Jonathan Majors. And once the guilty verdict on some of those charges came in, yeah, they started to drop him altogether. Even a lot of people, studios started to drop him in general. So really unfortunate considering his appearance in in the Creed movie too, in some of the MCU movies. Indeed though. So really unfortunate to see like an actor like this fall from grace and everything. So yeah, very unfortunate indeed though. So overall, I would say 2023 was definitely an interesting year for movies and all. We did, like I mentioned, we had some successes like Super Mario Brothers movie and the whole Barbie and Oppenheimer. We had some mixed situations such as the writers and actors strikes. And of course, Marvel, Disney, and even DC films in terms of the bad really did not have a good 2023 to be exact though, with some of their movies and everything. It'll be very interesting to see how 2024 is going to play out with a lot of movies, including since we're going to have, Deadpool 3, and of course Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, which I think that will be March 22nd and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how 2024 is going to play out and everything like that. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to be. But for 2023, there were some good moments, there were some mixed moments, and there were certainly some bad moments and all. Okay, this concludes my look back at movie and TV shows of 2023. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about movies in or TV shows in 2023? Did I cover this? Were there stories I may have missed? To be exact, though, were there movies you thought that actually did very well in 2023 and all? Do you think 2024 is going to be any better for movies or TV shows? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon or Steamland. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.